to everyone. Uh, I'm here to give you a presentation on the protection of the GI Indonesia legal framework and recent developments. Okay. This is the agenda that I will discuss for today. The overview of GIs in Indonesia, recent developments, government support, and policy direction. Our national legal framework. Currently, our legislation is law number 20 year 2016 on trademarks and GIs. We also have a government regulation number 51 year 2007 on GIs. The minister regulation number 12 2019 on GIs, and the minister regulation number 10 2022 regarding amendment of ministers regulation number 12 year 2019 on GIs. This is the development of our regulatory framework development. We're starting to protect GIs with our previous law, Law 15, year 2001, and then we implement a government regulation, number 51, 2007, and the first GI registered in Indonesia in 2008 is the Kopi Arabica Kintamani in Bali. We have the minister regulation number 29 of the year 2013 on the implementation of the GI logo. But as you see in the 2022, we changed the logo. Anyone have any idea why? Because in 2022, when I was the deputy director for the GI, I was previously I was a trademark examiner, and when I see the logo, it really has similarity with the AU logo, the color. So that's the first thing that I do with the permission by our acting DG at the time and the director of trademark and GI, that we change the logo. Because our flag of national consists of red and white. That's why we choose a color that basically solidify our nationalism. And in 2017, we have the first GI registered in AU, which is Kopi Arabica Gayo. So you can see that coffee is basically our majority in our GI products. Based on our law, the concept of GI is the special characteristics and qualities compared to similar products from other regions, reputation related to the product's area of origin, specific geographical factors not found in other areas, causing the product to be unique or different, and product identity, which is a natural condition and or local cultural heritage. I think it's basically almost the same with our ASEAN family on the concept of GIs. And who can apply for GI? According to our law, the applicant is an institution that represents the community in certain geographical area that operates goods and or products in the form of natural resources, handicrafts, and industrial products. And the second one is the provincial or district, city, regional government. But DGIP, we encourage the institution, or what we call is the MPIG, Masyarakat Pemilik IG, Indikasi Geografis, to be the one that own the GI. This is the area of the object of protection, natural resources, handicrafts, industrial products. As you can see, it consists of several products such as plantation, agriculture, handicrafts, farmery, forestry, fisheries, and marine. According to our legislation, we have what we call the GI control mechanism. It's carried out by the central government and regional governments in accordance with their respective authorities, ensure that certain characteristics and qualities remain as the basis for issuing GIs, prevent the unauthorized use of GI. In Indonesia, we have 38 provinces, and our Ministry of Law, we have 33 regional offices around the province. So we encourage our regional offices to help us to also push the local government to give the control mechanism. Okay, so this is the current data that I can show you. This is because we have a weekly report on the Indonesian GI application and registration. So the total that we have is 248 GI registered in Indonesia, consists of 233 GI products and from Indonesia, and 15 foreign GI that was registered through the direct application. From the 233, we have 156 of agriculture products, 3 forestry, 15 fisheries and marine, 4 farmery. We don't have any local product for wine and spirits yet, even though we have some potential GIs that we call, and we have 55 handicraft or industrial products. So we will be talking about the recent developments that we have on the GI. So as you can see on the screen, GI products that have higher prices than similar goods. The kopi kapal api maybe in some ASEAN countries. Indonesia is very famous. This is a instant coffee. The price is 35,000 rupiahs. Comparing to the Gayo coffee, that is a registered product of GI, which is around 63,000 rupiah, you can see that they cost almost 1.8 times higher than the instant coffee that we usually see in the market. And for the next example is the rice. Usually 5 kgs of rice cost around 75,000 rupiahs in Indonesia. But if we have a registered GI rice, I think it's a Cianjur rice, Pandan Wangi. So they have it branded as Cantik Manis, and they sold it in the very premium market, cost 150,000 rupiah, which is 2 times higher than the general prices. And the next example is the garam, which is a salt. Usually we bought it very cheap, 8,000. But we in Indonesia, we have what we call garam amet, which Nuno put it in his last presentation as one of the registered in AU during through the direct application. It costs 5 times much higher, 40,000 rupiah. So that concludes for us that GI products are priced higher than similar goods in some cases. The price can reach more than 1.5 times higher. This is the example of Amet Bali salt. So you can see that when they first started in 2014 until the data that we received in 2023, there's a significant rise on the price. This is another example, Sumatra Kerinci Arabica coffee, which is a GI registered. For the product on green bean after GI registration, when the circa 2016 to 2017, it cost around 60,000 to 70,000 rupiah. But from 2018, when they were registered until now, the price range 120,000 rupiah to 130,000 rupiah. And before the GI registration is lower than that, 40,000 to 60,000 rupiah. And they are in the domestic market, the producer is now the supplier of almost 200 cafes in Indonesia, and they also export the products to international markets such as Europe, Korea, Australia, and US. Another example is the Kerinci cinnamon. After GI registration is 60,000 to 70,000 rupiah, while before that, it's 40,000 to 60,000 rupiah. And they have also export their products to the international market in Europe. And GI is also, we always mention in our in the GIP that empowering GI is empowering rural communities. Why? Because it builds a strong regional image through unique high-quality products that could also be valorized through ecotourism, encouraging collective action to maintain product quality, reputation, promotion, and protection, maintaining active and productive participation of local communities, and increasing support from central and or local governments for rural development. This is one of the example of how GI can empower the rural communities. Now in Amet, they had what we call Amet Salt Festival, where between producers they compete on which one had a better products, and then of course it's already registered in AU through direct application. And the festival itself can be considered as a IP tourism, because if you've been to Amet Salt, it's quite far away from the city of Bali, but 3 hours, and so not much tourists comes to the place. But after that, they have registered the GI. Many tourists come to their place to see how they produce Amet Bali salt, because it's really been done with the very traditional way. So it's very interesting. Another example is the Muntok white pepper and Kintamani Bali Arabica coffee. Before, there were only 5,265 farmers in Muntok white pepper, and now it's 10,928 farmers. So it's twice the amount of the farmers since the registration. And for the Kintamani Bali Arabica coffee, before GI registration, there are only 40 groups that consist of 1,750 farmers. But after GI registration, it increased the number to 60 groups, around 2,640 farmers. And we also think that by having a GI product registered in their area, it also protecting local cultural tradition and natural assets, because it's inherited the local know-how, use of traditional production tools, use of local varieties for agriculture and plantation products, preserving the production landscape like terrace fields, maintaining local vegetation and ecosystem balance, example, forest honey, fishery products. This is one of the example of protecting local culture. If you see that in Amet Bali Salt, they really produce it in very traditional way. They localize an ancestral salt production, combining local natural resources. They still use coconut trees and mountain salt while they make the salt, and they use the traditional practices and unique know-how of salt producers and specific landscape. And this is the talk about government support and policy direction. So the development and support of GIs are carried out by not only by the central government, but also the local government according to their respective authorities, include the inventory of potential GIs, public awareness activities, and the facilitation of GI registration applications, and training and technical assistance, development, utilization, and commercialization of GIs. This is structured in our Article 70 in our law number 20, year 2016. And the pre-registration stage, starting in 2022, we have the program that we call mobile API clinics, where we spread our examiners or our GI experts to all the regional office in 33 provinces, where we give facilitation and we inventories the potential GIs in collaboration with relevant ministries and institutions. We also have what we call GI drafting camps to facilitate the preparation of application, because making the book of specification is really hard. It's really hard because Indonesian farmers, we're not like AU farmers. Maybe like any other ASEAN family farmers. Our farmers is rarely educated and basically they live on day-to-day salaries, right? So, of course, to make a book of specification is really hard. That's why we send our expert to help them. And we also cooperate with the National Research and Innovation Agency, which they have agencies around Indonesia. So this is a very intellectual experts, mostly academia, that helps the farmers to build the book of specification. And the inclusion of GI registration as one of the performance target of the regional offices of the Ministry of Law. Maybe as many of you working in the ministries, we have our yearly target, and GI is always in the target of our Ministry of Law. And also, we have a domestic international GI exhibition, GI Business Forum, collaboration with other ministry institutions, local government and relevant stakeholders to promote GI products, partnership with international partners for technical cooperation and GI support, and international agreement and registration of Indonesian GIs abroad, such as what we had with the AU through FTA. This is the GI exchange that Indonesia had with the AU under the AU SEPA, Indonesia AU SEPA. 72 GI from Indonesia will be protected under the Indonesia AU SEPA, mostly come from agricultural products. And 221 GI from AU will be protected in Indonesia under the Indonesia AU SEPA. And we had a GI registered through direct application to the AU. 4 of them already registered. Kopi Arabica Gayo, Garam Amet Bali, Lada Putih Muntok, Gula Kelapa Kulon Progo Yogyakarta, and 3 of still under application, which is the Kopi Arabica Flores Manggarai, Kopi Arabica Flores Bajawa, and Kakao Brau. So these 7 were from number 2 to number 7, we applied through direct application under the Rice Plus Indonesia project. So when it's ended in 2023, we still have 3 application pending in AU. This is the certificates of the 4 GI that was registered to direct application in AU. And that's my presentation. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.